And hello, everybody. Welcome to another Sasquatch Secrets. I'm your host, Nikki Colon. I am so glad you guys could be here today. Look at that. What are we at? I don't even know. 22 already in the house. And look at that chat. Everybody's saying hello. Oh, warms the heart. Warms the heart. Got to stay warm, right? Most of you are freezing out there. We're really nice here in El Paso, though. So it was overcast. But we've been in the 60s, almost hit 70s yesterday or the day before. So a little bit windy, and then it kind of drops at night. But I know you guys, some of you are digging out over there, and good to see you guys. So good to see you. I'm going to go ahead and bring on my guests so we can talk a little bit. For sure. And hello, we have Jay Birch in the house. I haven't seen Jay in a while. The Bigfoot BBQ guy. You guys got to check out his channel if you want to get hungry. Oh my goodness. You made burgers the other day. I was like, oh, look, I need that.
They were half pounds. That was last night. Those were gigantic burgers on brioche buns. It was awesome out here in the snow. And I had to unbury it out of the snow, my barbecue. I brought it in under the awning, and we're in the middle of a big melt now. And I was able to. Yeah. I was Jones, and I haven't been able to barbecue. We've been cooking inside. So.
Yeah, I bet. And welcome, Bill Rigby from the Agents of the Unexplained. How are you?
Oh, we're doing. Just been a crazy weekend. And
yeah.
Actually, it's warming up. It hit 21 degrees here.
Jeez.
I would be freezing. I'm in 50s with my jacket on in the house and everything. So I'm awake now. I became a desert rat. I don't know what to tell you. You know, I lived in the Southwest all my life, so I went. I went from northern Arizona to Phoenix, and then I stayed kind of south. So yeah, nope, me and the cold don't get along very well.
So. Hey, I'm an old man, and I don't get along with the cold.
Well, Monda's from Texas, and she actually throughout the years has adapted. But boy, when I first met her, it didn't take much for her to be cold. 65 degrees here. We're walking around in t-shirts, and she used to have one of those long coats when I met her, and she would be wearing it.
Oh, great. Man.
Well, you saw me, Jay, in July, and last July, and I had my jacket and my hoodie and everything on.
I gotta say that's a little bit chilly. That's probably one of the coldest Julys, though. It's weird. Of course, it didn't bother me, but you and Jen, especially, you guys needed that heat. That was that's nothing.
Where's the fire? And even, it is what
we couldn't even have a fire. So I had that propane fake fire, and it hadn't been for that, man, these people may have just frozen to death. I'll tell you.
I know, right? And people are like, well, what would you have rather had, the heat or, cooler weather? And it was perfect. I think it was perfect just for what we needed to do. We were able to tromp around out there without having heat exhaustion. So that was good.
That's probably my happiest week in my life that I can look back on. That was the most fun. It was, you guys, you were incredible. I watched you with your bad knees. You saw, for me, I have the chronic fatigue. I walked up there and had to come directly back and nap for 4 hours. And I was heartbroken over that. But yeah, Jen had hip surgery, and she's out there with a stick. Oh, you guys, amazing. Yeah. You guys were awesome out there.
She did not complain one time, not one time. Maybe when the chairs bit her behind the legs. That
was awful. She did. And then I turned you on to some nice Maker's Mark whiskey, bourbon, and the rest is history.
Yeah, it was good. I was good to go for the next night out. So yeah, I look upon that time out on Mount St. Helens is a wonderful experience. I can't wait to get out there again with you all, and hopefully we can make it happen this coming year. So that's something that's going to be on the list coming up, is that we need to all get together and figure out if we can do another one of these shindigs. Hopefully we can maybe cross the border and go to Canada.
Yeah, I was just
So-
talking to Michael yesterday, so
Yeah.
about it. B-Lynn,
Yeah.
hi, baby. Hi, sweet, beautiful bee.
Hey, B. Good to see you. Good to see everybody. So we are going to have a little contest tonight, okay? And I am going to do our Wheel of Names that I have done previously. And the first person on that list there is Uncle Bones, because he was first in the house. So he got an honorable entry into the Wheel of Names. All right. So I might throw out some questions or trivia or who knows what. And if you get it right, then I'm going to put your name on the wheel and we'll spin that at the end of the night. So be aware of that. Coming up. So it's all in fun. But this is what's going to be the prize, is that I have this Bigfoot pendant to give away tonight. And I don't want to put it too much of the thing, but it says legendary is what it says on there, on the little chain.
That's sweet.
Okay, so that's what's up for grabs tonight from the wheel. I'm going to put that there so I don't lose it. All right. So tell me what is in store. We have this open mic idea I had, and it's a new year and new adventures. So I thought, what's Bill going to be up to this coming year?
Well, a lot, actually. I was going to take it kind of easy after being laid up last year.
Uh-huh.
That ain't happening. I don't know how to take it easy. Starting in March. Well, actually, end of April, we're going to be at Salt Fork doing a camp out. It's a multi-group camp out that we're putting on. We're going to be at the group camp area. Everybody's welcome to just come. Now, you want to go investigate in Salt Fork, that's the best time to do it before the Bigfoot conference, when everyone's tramping through the woods. Then in May, of course, I'm going to be back at Salt Fork for that Bigfoot conference. But in March, I got my conference we're putting on March 30th in Hermitage, Pennsylvania, the Penn Ohio Paranormal Conference. And that last year I did that. That was I was praying to God I get 15 to 20 vendors and a couple hundred people to come through. I was shocked. I had 30 vendors, 6 speakers, and over 1,000 people come through that event.
Whoa, that's pretty huge right there.
Yeah, and I'm still shocked, truthfully. But so we're doing the second one March 30th. I'm going to be speaking up there at Forest County, Pennsylvania Bigfoot Festival also. And June 7th, 8th, and 9th, that goes off. And they had over 10,000 people come through there. So I'm nervous about that. Talking on a podcast, easy peasy. Now you got thousands of people in front of you. I don't know. But
wow, you'll do fine. You'll do fine.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I really am.
That's good. That's good. How about you, Jay? What else you got coming up?
Of course, we're gonna camp. We're gonna camp a whole lot more. But I was waiting to get on here to let everybody know that me and Monda found an opportunity. Her boss just bought 20-some acres, about 20 miles. Well, yeah, maybe 20 miles or so from us, and he has offered us to move on that property. And it's a It's all nice and wooded. It's just it's what we've been waiting for forever and a day.
Right.
And so I'll be able to plant my fruit trees that I've had since they're babies in big, and I get my fruit off of my trees. Believe it or not, you can grow apples and cherries in you get the big enough container. And
Yeah.
so my blueberries, I can take those with me, and my some of my strawberry plants. It doesn't take much. You can grab one strawberry plant, and in a year you can have 50. So just from the strawberry, because I've already done that. That's amazing what strawberries will do. So I'm more excited about that. Camping, we're gonna be able. I want to build a fort, a fallout shelter type, but not a fallout shelter. What would you call it? Just a fort with my youngest grandson on the property, and a few things like that. We'll be able to hunt that property. It has deer and elk and bear and just all the animals. So it's I'm really looking forward to that. I don't do much Sasquatch stuff anymore. I'm not a member of any of the crazy groups, and I just I got into it with one of the Sasquatch people like a month ago, and so we're no longer friends. But I asked the simple question: what is it I'm looking at, and why is every single picture you have blurry? That's all I said. Why? And it got into an FU and this and that, and I'm just like, you get so mean when you're drunk, Jay, and all this other. I'm like, I'm not drunk. I just ask you, why is everything you post? So I actually offered this guy, hey, well, let's go on Nikki's show. You bring your evidence, and if you don't mind, we'll have Brent Dill and we'll have Thomas Steenberg and maybe a couple other people, and let's examine your evidence. Boy, he's nasty, and I was like, okay, well. But it's okay. We can block each other and all that stuff. So I'm so done with the Bigfoot world. It's not worth. I do what I do on my own now, me and Monda. Other than of course, I'm going to hang out with you guys, and I definitely can't wait to get to Canada and visit with Michael and see Thomas again. But it's not, and I worship the ground that Brent Dill walks on. I love watching him destroy these lying people. So. I love it. It's just crazy to me what
keep on the love, because there's a lot on the opposite end there that'll give a hard time, give everybody associated with them a hard time. But just stick to your guns, and we have to remember to take the high road sometimes. Well, I do, and just do what I need to do. Right.
Yeah, I scroll on by now. I used to not scroll on by every single person that I'd have. Right. I don't do it anymore. It's not good for your health, number one.
It ain't. It ain't, because I've been doing like Jay. I've been scrolling by because a lot of people would get me frustrated with what they're saying and that, and it's ridiculous, And like you said, the blurry pictures,
the circles,
the arrows. The circles. Oh, I did put up a post.
We're going to go into some circles here in a little bit.
I put up a post that said, "Mark safe from the red circles." Oh, man. And that's a good one. That ticked a few people off. It's ridiculous. When they got to circle it, it ain't that to me. I don't care.
I see there are people that are famous in this that don't even have to. There's no. I had a real true blue experience that like I'm finally off the medication and all that from that experience. I've been off. I actually wasn't even taking it when we were up there during the shindig, but I'm just so sick of watching people that are just being never had to. You start a podcast, you have immediately got. Backing. You've immediately got sponsors. You got people who were beautiful, and this. So we automatically were type. I'm done with all that. They don't want people who've actually seen these things that aren't in the woo. They don't want to hear from any of us, and I just think that it's not cool. I had the people that needed to be there, in my opinion, with Nikki and Thomas and Brent. Those are the people that need to be there. They're just as important or better than any of those speakers, type of stuff. So, that's where I'm at. Geez, I just don't care about it anymore. If somebody wants to show me something, I gladly will go and look, and if you're within area that I can get to. But yeah, I'm done.
I can understand where you're going with that too, Jay, because me and my wife talked about a month ago, maybe a little less. I was saying, I'm about ready to get out of this. She says, why? I said, I'm tired of the BS. She says, stay away from it. You enjoy doing this. Stay the hell away from it. Why are you letting them get to you? And she's right. And I kind of cut them out of my life.
Yeah, my wife said to me, why do you get so angry? Why does this bother you? Just shut it off. Just don't. And then I get, I have a friend that she's really helped me a lot too, that to get better in the mind as far as, trying to help me with the anger issues. Not angry at home. I'm not angry at home. I'm angry at the Bigfoot world. It's turned into a religion. It's turned into, this is this fact, this is this faction, and all this mind speak and all this other stuff. And you're just like, wow,
All right. And some people ask me on my sighting, which I told Nikki about it, and they go, well, did it jump through portals? Did I say it did? No. I said I saw it walk back down over the hillside through the woods. I didn't say it jumped through portals.
I was asked if it followed us home. At that time, we lived in the city. In this spot where Nikki, I brought Nikki and Jen and Brent and all those other people. But I went to this conference way over in past Mount Rainier. It turned out to be a woo conference. And but yeah, the first thing guy sits next to me is, have they followed you home yet? And I was just like, what? You mean follow me home? How would they follow me home? Oh, it doesn't matter where you live. They can get to you. They can get to your home. I was like, yeah, but at that time, I didn't realize I was at a woo. That's how stupid I am. My wife, I don't think she spent an hour and she went back to the motel room. And that was it. She didn't come back the rest of the weekend because this was a weekend event. I went to see Mitchell Townsend and I went to see Ron Moorhead because I had a good relationship with Ron's wife, Carrie. But I've just, and I don't want to slam these people, but I can't support them either. Once I kind of got enlightened, and I look in Ron's book and I see these footprints that are they're like 30 inches and they're like 20 inches wide, and they just look like a perfect cardboard cutout from the 60s that used to be like you'd use the gas pedal in those Volkswagen buses, and the footprints would be this far apart, and I'm just looking at this stuff going, and then those foolish sounds. I found a guy and I posted it somewhere. It's been a couple of years that could imitate those sounds perfectly. So it's not without, human range and all that other stuff. And to me, it was harder for me to believe that. I'm on the fence with the Patty film, honestly, but when I watch gorillas walk, I study gorillas a lot online, and they walk like that creature walked. They literally walk when they're standing upright, exactly the arms the same way. They keep their hands in like that, like Patty did. These are the little selling points for me that put me on the fence of it's probably real. Whereas those sounds, why has nobody ever in 50 some years got sounds like that? And it just hit me one day because I heard another researcher. I'm quit using names too. I heard another researcher say that comes all the way from Texas to here, that they were in the camp and they were doing stuff like trying to act normal and go and I'm just like, oh my God. But Nikki can tell you, man, all you do is you act normal. You sit at the fire, you laugh, and literally be normal people. They come to you. You don't have
they do.
They come to you in your camp while you have to go to bed.
The first few nights we didn't feel or hear anything. Was the last night of all nights that it seemed like the forest kind of woke up. And I don't know, we don't know what it was. And something was in the camp because the garbage got going through, and they did, we do have recordings of something moving around, but we don't know if it was a bear or what, but I know what I heard. I know what I felt come up to the tent. I know I heard what I heard at my ear. It was a foot away from my head on the other side of that tarp. So, it's really.
And we found that perfect
weird.
footprint. We found that after a heavy rain, me and Dakota, it was his first day there. He got there the night before, so him and I stayed up, had a couple beers together, and I was so glad to finally have him in person. He's my buddy, cooking buddy. That's how we met. That's how me and Michael met too. And so fresh in the morning, boy, we both grabbed a cup of coffee and we headed into the next camp over to us. And like I said, it had rained Monday. He got there Tuesday night about 11 o'clock, and we stayed up till probably 2 or 3, and then we got up early. And I wanted to show him that other camp. Now it was clear and all that. We walked over there and we found a perfect print. And Thomas Steenberg laid on his stomach with all his tools. It was amazing watching that man work. Amazing. Because I could get down and get back up. And he did. He was amazing. And he pronounced that authentic. So. But that just tells you how close there was one on Tuesday night. It had to been Tuesday night or in the morning, because we headed over there right off the bat. Now our dog has been suffering the last couple of years with allergies and ear infections from yeast and stuff. So we've had her heavily medicated. And normally, even here we live in our fifth wheel, she will bust through the door some nights and go after whatever's out there. And it's usually an elk, but she didn't even stir once we got in there and went to bed, where normally, we have to. So, yeah. And what happened with Nikki and Jen in between their tents? And you have to know these people. I mean, I would never, I can't even imagine Nikki telling a story when the prints were there. That's the thing, is the prints are there on the ground and we're the only ones there. You'd have to be there to know the camp. And all that. And of course, we would be spending a lot of time up there again this year, but we don't go looking for them. Mona and I just camp up there. We do go across the creek, and just hopefully because that year of our encounter, those prints were everywhere you looked, all different sizes. They were everywhere on that stretch going up right to the portal. So what we call a portal, there's no portal. There's no portal.
Yeah,
there's no magical portal.
It's not a portal. I just called it that.
When you approach this, it looks like a portal, but it's just, it just looks.
Well, I took a picture in the big round circle of the way the trees and the brush all went. And I said, "Look, a portal." Everyone started agreeing with me. It's like, come on.
Well, I took them on a drive and they all got to see, all these things people post online. Oh, the Sasquatch did this. Dude, if I could take you outside right now after this horrific snowstorm we had, that is so bad that if the snow fell from a tree, crushed my chicken hutch. I lost one of my little showgirls, and I ended up bringing my last 2 chickens in the house for a week. And it's just, there's branches everywhere from this windstorm, and they look just like everything those people post online. Sasquatch didn't do any of that, and why would they is another thing. I want to go out and build a fort that no human could get into, maybe a Barbie, and that would be the equivalent what people post online of the structures. That why would an 8-foot creature build something that a full-grown man couldn't get into? It makes no sense.
Exactly. That's where these tree structures, I debunked 98% of it. And the 2% I couldn't, I don't know what caused it.
Yes.
That's the problem. We just don't know.
See, that's my beard back then. That's my beard back then. That's because I have to wear stuff at work when I was, I'm retired now, so that I could breathe the aluminum smoke. And that was fun. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
What happened?
I'm glad Nikki's hand was like this and not like this.
Well, I got Jen on my other shoulder on a picture like that. But we found the next day after the first part of our encounter, which was my encounter, there was a tree on the other side it was when you looked at it, it was broken and bent like an A.
Yeah.
And I just, at first I was kind of like, well, I know they did this. I didn't know why, but then it hit me. That looks like an A. And I didn't know anything. Look, we left the Bigfoot world back in the like the 90s. And so it's further in as we're walking and stuff, we're finding more of them, even smaller ones that are I mean, literally by a trail, we find little ones done with sticks, the perfect exact same thing. And so I thought, well, this gotta mean something. I just don't know what. But at the Woo conference, they're telling me, oh, that means welcome. I was like, well, I sure didn't feel welcome. I was like, what?
And it was near a trail, you said,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, it was this part of it was, I heard them bring this tree down. It's about that big around. I showed these guys what's left of it, but it was frayed and pushed directly over, snapped about 20 feet up and then twisted, and the rest of it came down like this. Then they pulled a thinner one, a smaller one, out of the ground and laid it across it. And it was an A. It looked like this almost like the A on the original Star Trek, but
Right.
It came out a little bit more. But then we started seeing more of those just off trail. I mean, literally, here's the trail, here's a little bit off the trail, and it's a place where I put apples and pears, because for the longest time I would take food up there for them, hoping that they would eat it. But we would find these little things off to the side, but we never took pictures. And people have asked me why did Cliff Brockman said to me, did you take pictures? And I said, no, I mean, I didn't even think of that kind of stuff, and so yeah, it's just I think that there's something like that they do, but from what I saw with my own eyes, it was I wouldn't ever call that an ape. I mean, I would say it had hairy body and all that stuff, but the face was not an ape. So
No, not
I
at
thought
all.
it was, to me, it looked like a Caucasian woman or a light skinned, like Nikki's tone too. It could have been like that even, but
Yep.
I just thought it was a big woman with a stocking cap and a hoodie on like that. Because a lot of women will have that ponytail. Nikki wore a ponytail quite a lot up there, and
I always do.
yeah, and if you put a hoodie on, it makes that stick up like that. So I just thought that was a big woman that was heavily layered, because it would rain off and on and all that. So yeah, it was really something.
Well, the one I saw, hairy everywhere, of course, but the head wasn't so conical. But and I saw it at about 15 feet away, and it was just by chance that I saw it at that point. And someone put in there how some people want to get validation; they want to see another one. Well, I had validation that night because someone that was hiking with me saw it too, and he even said so. But at 15 feet, I thought I was going to die. I really did.
I didn't feel like that with her, but I did the night before my wife got there with this other one, which I have to assume was a male. I mean, it was extremely aggressive, but it's just amazing to me that the prints and everything. I've never seen that before. Now, when I was a little boy, we lived up on an old homestead in Yamhill, Oregon, and I saw one from behind, but I thought that was a man down at our well. We lived up on this huge property. It was 52 acres, and it was just an old homestead with fruit, orchards and stuff. And I was just learning to walk again, so I was feeling the tall grass as I stepped to the back of the house, and I glanced down and I saw just the head of what I thought was a man, slick back hair. I saw the ears, and I thought, oh man, I got to go tell my mom, because we lived up on a mountain. There was only one way in there. So it's, and you knew You knew because you could hear them at the half-mile point, and you could see the half-mile point from when you walked out of the house. And there was no cars, there were no people or anything. So they went outside, and they knew I was upset, and they went out and looked, and there was nothing there. My stepdad went all the way down, and he actually came up, slapped me in the face, and why did you say that? You know, he was a cruel son of a bitch. I was like, couldn't tell I was scared to death, man. But yeah, that was amazing. And then when, in the 90s, when I was coon hunting with a buddy of mine who thought Sasquatch was the biggest joke on the planet, we come around a bend one night when all three of our dogs were with the fog was so thick that all you could see, we had glow sticks on the hounds that night. And you could see that this thing was very tall, and it stared at us, and it was kind of a burnt orange looking. It looks like humans when you take the old flash and that red. Yeah, that's the kind of red that was coming out from that million candle power spotlight. And yeah, these dogs, you could see that they'd get up like this on it, and they didn't ever bark. Everything was very calm. And then at one point, my friend was freaking out. He was freaking out because he's like, "Is that a Sasquatch?" I was like, "I think it's probably an elk, or something." But he brought me back down to light. He said, "Well, number one, elk don't blink when you have a light on them," and he said number two, it was stomp those dogs to death. And, I just, because it was very calm, whatever it was. And then I happened to take it off. And for a second while we talked, I brought it back up, and I couldn't find it again. And we didn't hear anything leave either, which was weird. And I don't think it flew away. They just know how to, if it hadn't been for a stick breaking the night my wife and I got bluff charged, I didn't know they were there. I mean, it hadn't even turned dark yet. And it happened so fast that it was like a blur. So yeah, that's just amazing to me. So that's why I say, number one, when I hear people say, I want to prove it, we have to kill one to prove it, and all this.
No.
Prove it to who? Prove it to who? If you saw it, like I saw this, my wife and I lived this. So if I saw what I saw, I know what I know, then the powers that be know. And just before all these people came up to the camp, one of the federal forest workers came into the camp to see how we're doing, because we've actually run into this guy multiple times. And he said, I asked him, I said, well, so what do you guys think of the Sasquatch? He says, they're there. He says, I'm the youngest in my family, and I'm a squatcher. And I was like, no kidding. He's like, yes, of course they're there. Of course we know they're there. Of course, now if I would have asked him, hey, can you say that on tape? I know damn well he wouldn't have.
No, they wouldn't.
He's a nice guy. He comes up every year, and he stops in and visits with me, Amanda. He's a good young guy. So.
That's the thing. Like you said, he will tell you, but to put it on record, he won't do it.
Well, he'll lose his job.
Yeah, he'll lose his job. Now, the environmentalists there from Salt Fork State Park in Ohio, he says they're there. And Ohio Department of Environmental Resources, they acknowledge the Sasquatch is there in Ohio. So I don't understand why other government entities don't admit it and let it go, because there's been too many sightings. And I was in a discussion earlier today about, we need a body. No, we don't. Talk to the people that actually had a sighting. And most of the descriptions are very much the same.
Agreed.
But you still need a body just to prove the science. No. I listened to something Dr. Meldrum was saying today on a podcast he was on too. And he said science is finally catching up.
It might. It just might.
Yeah, it's finally starting to catch up.
Dr. Brendon, he was already there. Dr. Brendon, he was already there. He's like, they know they're there. I love that, man. God, We
Yep.
lost a great guy when he died. Man, that guy
Oh,
was a
yes.
Oh, I wanted to meet him so bad. The conference that we went to right after our encounter, he was supposed to be there, but he was already sick. So what he did was he did it via taped, you know,
Right.
like Nikki did with my wife. We fooled everybody on that show. That was the greatest. Have the chat.
Yeah, it was pre-recorded.
But yeah,
Yeah.
that's I just thought I love watching anything he's doing while he was alive. I still will watch the whole thing. He was there.
Jen said something in the comment too. Saltport DNR did a video on them, and it's on YouTube. And she's right. Actually, I saw that one too, Jen. And for everyone that says, you know, everyone goes to Saltport, you're not going to see one. They're full of shit. That's where I had my encounter at the group camp area. Just a short distance from it down the Buckeye Trail. And I was going there.
I think it's just a matter of chance, you know, being in the right place at the right time, putting yourself in those situations that you can possibly have an encounter. Because I think you're right. No matter where you're going to go searching for them, you probably will have more contact by bringing them around wherever you are.
Yes.
You know, out there.
And I agree with what Jay said too, Nikki. You can sit around your camp. You got a better chances of seeing one or catching some kind of experience from them. Because that was proven at another friend's place. His research area is his backyard. And just sit there. And at 1 a.m, he had peanuts in these little buckets. He had 4 or 5 of them tied up off the tree branches with glow sticks on them. At 1 a.m, I'm looking up around and I see the one bucket doing this. Got the infrared out and shot it up there. And the night vision, and there were 2 sitting there eating the peanuts out, watching us. So we are their TV show when you're sitting around your camp or sitting in one area.
And if you have kids with you, that really brings them in. It really brings them in. And out here where I live, right here, 3 years ago, I had been throwing apples out in the forest, right behind us, and I went one day and I have a stump out there. I haven't in a while, but I used to make planters out of stumps, not stumps. When you cut down a tree, you get these nice logs that people would split.
Yep.
Well, I would make planters out of those. What I would do is I'd put barbecue coals in a circle on the top and let that burn down into, I'd get them like that deep. And then, you drill holes down in it and stuff for the water and the soil, and the roots can do their thing. And so I had one that I hadn't worked on yet. And it was big like this, and then a little bit that came out like this, and a nice dip in it. I go out there one day and there's 4 filberts in that little dip sitting there. And I was just like, it was the way they looked in there. I thought to myself, this, I don't know about the gifting thing or anything. I don't believe that, but a squirrel didn't do that.
No, Jen, I'm not in Ohio. Well, I can take a stone and throw it and I'll hit Ohio. Jen just asked if I was or not, and I'm that close. But the thing is, the gifting part, you're putting apples out there. It's not just the Sasquatch that'll eat it. It's your deers, your elks, even squirrels. It's whatever type of fruit you put out there, the other wildlife will eat it.
Absolutely.
So
why don't we have all these videos of all these animals coming and eating this gifted food? Why they don't show it, because they want to keep saying that Bigfoot came and took the food. But my suspicions is that they've been recording all these other animals taking that food.
Yeah.
Well, Gwen Purcell and I, back in September, was up in the Alleghenies camping. And we put a bucket of apples out along the camp road when we went to bed, thinking something will get into it. Nothing did. Not even a skunk. Nothing did. The next night, we had food scraps put in that bucket with it. Nothing got into it. Nothing. We did have some experiences around the camp area there, but nothing got into it while we were there. And that was kind of odd for us. You know, we'd like to know why nothing got into it. Of course, we took that bucket of fruit and leftover stuff and left it up there. We dumped it out. But the thing is, something will eat it.
Hey, it's let me stop you right there for a moment. It's time for your first question. For those in the chat, we are going to be having a little wheel of names at the end of the night. So answer me this question, and I'm going to put your name on the wheel. You ready? What is my maiden name? Who knows my maiden name?
Oh.
First one in the chat that gets my maiden name, I'm going to put your name on the wheel of fortune. Colon is my married name. What's
is it same as your mother's?
It's the same as my mother's.
I remember saying the pictures and the names.
Nope. You've got about Lockbeard has about another 10,000 Spanish names to go through. So
ready.
So that's
way to go,
we gotta make
Lockbeard.
it hard, right? We're gonna make this one a little bit harder. So I'll keep looking for that in there, and I'm gonna come up with another. I should probably do 2 to get some more names on there. What was Hernanzi? What?
Rabbit.
This is gonna get good. This is gonna get good, I think, maybe. What are you saying there, Gary? And one oh, yeah. I have no idea how I'm gonna react when I see one. Probably I have a B got it. Yes, B.
Lucero.
We got the answer.
Ding, 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 ding.
Lucero. My maiden name is Lucero. So we're gonna have to bring this up and put B-Lynn.
Ding, ding, ding. Winner, chicken dinner.
There you go, B. You have been entered. Thank you very much. Her sister's name gives it away. Oh, because she does the hyphen thing. My sister does the hyphen thing on her name. Yeah.
B is pretty smart.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think on my Facebook page I have the Lucero in parentheses. I'm not sure. I used to have it that way. But anyway, back to it. So I have to kind of disagree about I know I am in the presence of 2 people who have seen Bigfoot. So your question, you've already found your main answer, right? You saw it. You don't need anything else. Anything else you learn about Bigfoot is extra for you guys. You
Right.
know, for me, I've not seen one, you know, so for the greater population, the ones who think we're all nuts for believing in a hairy hominid out there in the woods, they need something more substantial, which probably, Curious Cryptid made a good point that type specimen doesn't necessarily mean, you know, a body or whatever. It could mean other evidence that comes about. But in terms of the way I use it, in the terms of the way a lot of people use it, is that we need something in our hands to compare stuff to. You know, that's just my belief. You know, that's my opinion, that it would be nice to solidify things if we had, you know, a hand or a head or something that was found out there that we can compare.
Nikki, I'll go against that theory there, because number one, for the naysayers, for the skeptics, and for the ones that haven't seen one, yes, we do need that. Do we go out and kill one for it? Hell no. Not at all. But for the ones that have seen it, like Jay and myself, we don't need the DNA. We don't need all that scientific crap. But we still need to learn more about them.
Right.
And, and once you get a hand, a head, the hair samples are proving a lot. But something like that, yes, I agree. It can help scientifically push it forward. I asked.
Well, you've got a lot of people who won't believe in the words from somebody else. Okay,
right?
They won't believe
Exactly.
in
They don't.
Or an encounter or what's happened. They need to see that physical evidence, and they don't feel that footprints unless you have a video of the Bigfoot leaving that print. How do you know it came from that Bigfoot?
Yeah.
You know, how do you know it wasn't somebody hoaxing you, or an animal just happened to step partially on a human foot? What if that happened? What if there was a jogger, you know, doing his thing, and a bear came and stepped on the front part of that print? How do you know? You weren't there to see it.
Exactly.
Rare? Could it be rare? Yeah.
I've heard
probably.
Kathy Strain say that, well, we need to do this so that we can protect them. I don't see that they need any protection. I mean, if they can stay so elusive like this, and if you've been on some property in Oklahoma for multiple years and you haven't got one, but this property is supposed to be full of them, you know, I love her. I think I love the way she challenges Dr. Meldrum. And I agree with her counterpoints whenever I've seen her disagreeing with him. That's where I get the respect for her. But you also have people, I think, that if he knew better, guys like Tristan Yolton, he's got the primo evidence, and all he's been is screwed with, you know. And I discovered that guy accidentally. He came into my camp and asked if he could put his recorder out. And we've been, you know, we were friends for a while. I just don't get to talk to him all the time and everything. And
well, that's he has too, Jay. I understand where you're going with that, but I know people that got evidence in that and they've been screwed with. Now you got Darby Orcutt coming in with the different colleges and sciences and that all going to be working together. He's able to bring a lot of that together. And
Tristan just does this with his mother. He's not out to. He's got poop that's bigger around than a Coke can in a big bag he's had for years. And it's just, and he was, when I met him, he was handling it with his hands, pulling it out of the freezer to show you he was on our show. My wife and I had a short-lived podcast, but he's been on Nikki's show. He's been on the Squatch Detective, I believe. He's been everywhere. And I know that, I think recently he may have even been on Jevning's, one of Jevning's. I don't know for sure, but he has He has all these things, and you have to meet the man in person to know that you can trust him. He does this with his mother. I mean, that's to me is extremely awesome. I got to sit there and visit in my camp there at Bumping Lake with him and his dad for hours. And that's a very, very put together, very good family of people. He just didn't realize, well, he's not out to prove anything. He's got all this evidence. But here he is, so now that's completely contaminated because it's on every Squatch show that we're been associated with, that he's handled that stuff. But he doesn't take castings of his footprints, and he's got great footprint records with photos. Excellent. So yeah, he's to me he's the guy that could probably help out with his with some of what he's got. If he knew how to, who to contact or those kind of things like that. I've always supported him. I just think he's a wonderful guy. So.
I know a guy up in New York that he has a freezer just for poop, plain and simple. I says, you don't put that in with your regular food, do you? No, I got another freezer. Oh, thank God.
This steak tastes like
he got some food that cooked for all of us, and it's like, no, I don't want it. But yeah, the thing is, that will help understand what they're eating and how they're eating and the whole 9 yards.
Yeah,
it's not the DNA part of it,
right?
Okay. But I was asked a question when I was on the podcast. Once a body was found and presented, are you going to still research? I went, yes. Because I've seen it. I know they're there. I still got so much more to learn.
Well, just because we discover, if it does come to light and it's done, it's in the books, we still don't have any information about them, and we still don't we still have people out there watching them live, right? Because we can't find them every day.
I'd like to be the Jane Goodall doing that.
I think we should send Brent out there and live with them.
I think a lot of people would love to do that, but we can't find them.
That's
successfully go to the same place and find them, but we can't. And hello, Brent. Good to see you.
Hey, how's it going?
Jonathan just jumped in on the back too. Hey, Jonathan, Sasquatch Wizard. And for all of you in the chat, all of their links are down in the description. Okay, everybody who possibly may be coming on tonight. So anyway, Brent, good to see you. What do you have to say?
Hey. Yeah. I missed the last 5 minutes trying to get this all set up, but I'll just have to say kind of yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
So, do you believe we need a body? Do you believe we need a body?
Yeah, I think we're going to need a body because that's what's going to convince everybody. I don't think proving Bigfoot on a spreadsheet of like, hey, look, it's real. Look at this data sheet to prove it's real. I don't think people are going to resonate with that. You're going to need a real physical body. People can be like, oh, look, now I believe. Well, some won't, but yeah, I that's why I don't really focus too much on the DNA and stuff, because it's just going to be one of those things where if you do get Bigfoot DNA, well, it might be, mislabeled. It's just not, in my opinion, it's not going to be enough. Yeah, it's always going to be up for debate, especially if they come out to be close to human, because you'll have that human contamination or whatever, But yeah, I think it's going to have to be a body, and why we haven't got one so far is like beyond me.
Well, let me clarify. Let me clarify something real quick. When I say, I would rather do this some other way or whatever. It's that I don't need to prove it to someone, but I don't want a body, but that is the way it's going to have to happen. Exactly. Seriously, I mean, but I just don't want that to happen. And so that's where my stance is on that. I know I'm not a dummy, I mean, if we're going to do this, but I don't want to be a part of it is all. Unless I'm sure.
Yeah, it would be great to come across a Bigfoot that died in an avalanche, the previous winter and stuff, and to come across and be like, boom, there you go. What body part do you cut off right now, just in case? That's your next question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. Absolutely. It's
Sure would
definitely
be.
going to take a body. And
Yeah, well, I mean, that's why we should look at avalanche shoots,
yeah.
in the springtime and see kind of what's there and stuff.
I wonder if
That's
there's any
true.
scientific equipment that can measure biological material that would be, encapsulated in deep sheets of ice, meaning,
Well, that would be eDNA, and actually, I have a whole little segment that we're going to talk about here coming up, and it's going to be exactly what you're talking about, Jonathan. How can we figure out what's inside the environment? We may already have the answers there, right?
well, I was thinking, and you're right, but what I was thinking is something like a sonar that, a piece of equipment where you could possibly, say, fly a drone over parts of the Arctic or, tundra that's has permafrost year round, like when they found the woolly mammoth in the ice. And I'm thinking, is there any equipment that, could be used to survey deep layers of ice looking for organic, material, a body? Can you send a signal down through layers of ice 300 feet deep and pick up on something that's down in there? Is there anything available like that?
Probably not, because that would work really well in recovery, for like avalanches and stuff.
Okay.
But I haven't heard anything like that.
All right. Well,
I'm sure that you got like ground penetrating sonar where you can probably like, hey, this could be a person or something. But that'd be cool. That'd be cool to have. Our best bet is just to go where it's, where it melts, I guess.
Because it would take some money to take on that endeavor. It'd be like, the Curse of Oak Island. I mean, even if you did have the equipment and you found something that matched the size of a Sasquatch, 150 feet down in the ice, now you have to go try to get it. You need equipment. You need to drill down. I mean, sure, not going to do it with an ice auger or a hand chisel. But I had always thought that our answers might be in the ice.
Are you guys getting a hot mic from Brent?
Yes, it's awful hubbub.
Okay, Todd, I can.
Hello?
Are you going to lower it there, or do you want me to lower it?
How does this sound? Hello?
That's hot.
Very loud.
Hot.
Very loud.
Okay, how's this?
This?
Hello? Is that good?
Yeah, that's better. That's better.
I just turn mine down.
I just watched the documentary today. It's not very long. I spent a lot of time on YouTube, and not YouTube like on the phone YouTube, but on the television part. I'm subscribed to it. They are 2024. They are going to impregnate a Asian elephant with the DNA of a mammoth, and this is it's a real thing. This is going to happen. That thing's going to be born in whatever 22 months or whatever. So I don't know why they want to mess with extinct things, but I think there's a reason.
Put those up into the Russian tundra, right, Jay?
Yeah. Yep.
I've read up on that as well.
Yeah. So, I knew they was going to do it, but I didn't know when.
2024. This is it.
Wow. Well, that'll be a sight to behold.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't, it's not going to stop there. It's going to, they're going to, it's going to, I saw how this movie ends. I saw what happens. Yeah. It's going to start next with the dodo bird, and then we're going to be like, hey, let's do this. Some rogue lab in China is going to be like, I got a good idea. Let's do like, a platypus type combo. And boom,
hopefully they don't start battling with each other like the Russians and Americans did when they were trying to get to the moon first with all this, Yeah. I'm not really interested in having to watch, put eyes in the back of my head for a saber-toothed tiger.
Though that would be cool, though. That would be cool. There he goes. Oh shit, there he comes.
Look,
Okay,
he's got
we
Johnny.
need another
He's
question.
running
We
off
need
with
another,
Johnny.
we need another question for the chat. For those of you who have been around a long time, you've probably heard me say the names of my daughters. What are my kids' names? Do you know? Who knows?
I know that one you posted the other day she's beautiful. She looks just like you.
Oh, thank you.
I feel awful,
She's
but
beautiful.
That reminds me, I have to post that again. Trying to raise money. So I'll keep an eye out for the chat. If you know my kids' names, what are they? And I'll put your name on the wheel for a surprise. So
is it Hansel and Gretel?
Hansel and Gretel. Yeah.
Show me what you got.
Jim, you heard them said, show me what you got.
Hey, Gary. Haven't seen Gary.
Uh-oh, who was that?
Huh?
I don't know. I heard something weird.
Well, my daughter's in there doing her exercises, jumping up and down on the floor. So if you hear some thudding, that's probably what that is.
No, it was definitely in. Okay, it's okay.
Yeah, I have chimes going right out there too, right outside the.
No, I heard it. It was I think it was the FBI wiretap that's on your phone.
Oh, they linked in. They linked in because they know I was going to talk about this AI crap that's going around. Now it's gonna keep getting worse, people.
Wow.
But the thing that gets me is how many comments believe it, right? Even though you can say this is AI generated. I mean, look at that yucca or whatever. That they don't look like that, okay? They don't look all nice and perfectly and everything. And I don't know. It's going to get better and better and better. But I've been seeing a lot of these that are imitating trail cam pics lately.
It looks like they have the date, time, and
stuff on the top. And,
yeah.
Oh my goodness,
Boy.
But
isn't it a shame too? Because I mean, if somebody does get a trail camera picture, and for instance, I mean, imagine if that was real. I mean, what a waste to just blow it off because, well, it's AI. I mean, it's very.
Yeah, but let's be honest. Most of us, wouldn't believe in the trail cam photo when it came across, anyways, before AI. It's like pictures, especially trail cam. They're like some of the worst forms of evidence and stuff. So, it's just kind of what it is with the AI. Just a new adventure,
Photoshop, right? Everything.
Yeah. It was always something else. Yeah, it's always something with it. It's just that's why it's important to develop the tools, ask the questions, and to better vet this stuff out. And we should know that there should be another photo here, or I don't know if this is a trail cam photo, but if this is just a regular photo, well, why isn't there more than one? The general questions like that.
Yeah.
It was mounted
I
on
brought that up on another show where I was wondering if there was tools available to take that photograph and go to work on it to find out where it came from. Forensically.
The metadata.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I had a question about the AI. Would it generate a metadata saying, hey, this was created here?
I've heard that it is going to be able to. Yes.
You can add in the metadata afterwards.
Wow.
The only metadata that you can't change is the raw video, which is like a raw picture, which a lot of people don't even deal with anyways. It's more for photography and stuff. But that's why again, it's just important to ask the questions because the subject's always been bombarded by this type of forgery.
Yeah.
Now the big thing is for showing an old black and white from the frontier days with some guy cowboy standing by a 12-foot creature with a cane or 2 or 3 of them with 5 or 6 cowboys, and it's just, and people they're posting these things on all these stupid groups, and I'm just like, wow, and you can't argue with them. There's no reason to even try. I just scroll on anymore. Like I said, it's just not worth it. This kind of
yeah, but if you also look, those are the people that are just getting into the subject, usually like first year, second year, maybe, that are really super excited and will fall for like incredibly fake stuff too. And
I did.
so,
I did.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I mean, I was like Sasquatch, Ontario, dude, you're real. We all go through that process. And so, that when we like come across that, it's like, I wonder how long this person's been in the subject. And if you ask that, you'll find out usually that's like not very long. And you got to give people time to, develop the skills necessary. And yeah, people try to help, but it's just kind of whatever.
Back in 2012, I saw him. That was. I just was on back then I was into the Lost Book of Inky and the Emerald Tablets and stuff, and somehow that came up in my the stuff on the side on YouTube, and I was just like I took my ear things out and I said, Mom, this guy has a Sasquatch that talks. You got to hear this, man. Man, he's throwing marbles, there's prints everywhere, and Mike, and I was just like, wow. Crazy.
A lot of it's going to come down to who you can trust. I mean, over a period of time, individuals that we all know, there's people that you believe what they say, or give a lot of credit to what it is that they're saying, and if they come up with some evidence, then it'd be a lot more credible than just some fly-by-nighter that throws something up there like that. But it will be nice if they have a counter to the AI, somebody like Steve Calls, to see
I think there's software
and break something like that down, like he's done with other video and photo, and did an analysis on it and then showed us all, this is what my software is picking up, and this is why I'm questioning this picture, because the forensic software is picking out these clues. It'll be nice to see something like that come up. They must be working on it. I mean, think about national security and our law enforcement.
Yeah,
they have got to be able to, break this stuff down and separate the wheat from the chaff.
Well,
but also comes down to.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Brent.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
This goes back to these pictures I've been floating around. Actually, some of this stuff is being transposed with the AI. And I'm not that technical to understand how you break that down to see the difference.
Well, I'm sure there's got to be software out there.
There's got to be some sort of digital trail that you can discover in the creation of that. I mean, isn't there at least there should be a regulation where there would be a digital trail to the creation of that picture.
Exactly. That's what I would like to see.
Maybe our law enforcement and our government has that already, but just like GPS with the first Iraq war, the Iraqis were puzzled how come the United States Armed Forces were marching across the desert on no roads and were going to pinpoint locations. And then it wasn't until a few years later till we got the TomTom. And once they go to the next level, we get that tech. So hopefully they have the tech to break down AI generated video and photo, and we'll get it.
The chat's pretty funny. You're being serious, and I look down.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. They're just being
Brent's always a target for some reason.
Something. Solve the Bigfoot mystery.
Wow, they can plan that one out right there.
Hey, what's going on, Central Florida Bigfoot? I hope your knee operation went well and you're healing, Matt. I hope things are going well.
Yes, absolutely. I gave him an invitation to come on. It's all good. It's all good, Matt. You heal up there, buddy. Anyway,
yeah, Matt just brought up a point too, that the original image will always have the metadata. Copies will have changed, revised data.
Well,
Yes.
I understand that for regular photos and pictures that we take on our phones and cameras, but AI,
Right.
does that
So
have the same kind of thing with it?
So AI is
don't
going
know.
to say, I generated the photo. Here's your metadata. That's where it starts. There's nothing prior to that. So we need just prior to that, the creation to that information, which is going to be lightning fast. It's like, wow.
Well, yeah, I mean,
know.
I could see them including the metadata in with future AI things, having it be part of like a real picture and stuff because, I don't know, it seems like there's going to be some regulations coming forward because I know here recently in the last year or so that people have won awards entering in AI, won it and said, hey, sorry, I actually was seeing if I could win and actually admitted to using AI and stuff. And
Wow.
so, yeah, it's going to be interesting to how we're going to, better go about figuring it out. But with something like this, with the Bigfoot subject, it's really easy. Just track back to the source. If it's just a random photo that somebody's like, hey, I came across this, it's like, my friend sent it to me or something like that. It's like, oh, come on, or,
Yeah.
or, you have like with something like this, there should always be more than one picture. What's the backstory? There should be somebody.
Yesterday. That's the newest thing. My wife took this yesterday driving home, or my husband took this, or my son took this, or my grandma took this. And you're just like, the pictures that have been out for years and people claim, yeah, my mom took this on the way home yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm
I
too
had that
busy out
given to
there
me a month
doing,
ago.
I'm too busy out there collecting information and processing and learning how to deal with the information that I'm collecting. I do not find myself surfing the internet and looking at pictures like that and being in awe. I just don't.
Well, you're probably not in groups where pictures like that are usually being posted and
I'm
accepted
not
and loved and adored.
big into social media.
Yeah,
No,
we
you're right,
just
Bill.
go find, if you're not in a group that, or if you're in a group that
Right.
accepts this, that really loves it, it's just like best not to fight it, just best to like go find a different group. It's
I don't even do that. I just scroll on by. These are groups that I'm not a part of any of them, but when I'm scrolling down doing stuff, with checking what my friends are doing and stuff, these things pop up. I'm not a member of them, but there'll be these things that you can't comment on them because you're not a member. But I'm just like, I usually just erase it, get them out. I asked one guy, "What the hell are you doing on my thread? I don't even know you." I mean, well, it pissed me off because the guy thought he was a comedian, and I was like, "You're awful. And you need to get off my thread." And how'd you get on my thread? That's just, I don't take no shit anymore.
That's the thing, Jay. That is social
I'll be
media.
right back. I'll be right back, guys. I got to go make sure a pizza is not burning in the oven. I'll be right back.
No, don't let the pizza burn. Go.
Oh, that's sacrilege there. But no, that's the thing. My Agents of the Unexplained group, I made it go private because of all these idiots that were coming on there. And in a way, I kind of didn't want to go private, but the trolls that were getting downright ignorant. And
yeah, you have to do that. I put mine on private too.
If
somebody who really is interested, they'll bother to do the little questions and come in.
Yes,
or
exactly.
Right. They'll do that, but the bots and all those can't do all that. So they won't do that. But anyway, just beware. I mean, look at the date. Joe Squatch and Cowboy brought it up, and some other people. It doesn't, things don't make sense. A lot of times with AI, they screw up the fingers, how many fingers and how many toes are on there. So look for things, just look for things. And
well, the next question is, why would somebody post this? Like, what's the motive behind it? I'm sure there's so many different motives.
Trail camera from Joshua Tree National Park captured a picture of the Yucca Man. So that's why there's a tradition of a Yucca Man out there. But
a lot of them are just looking for the popularity. They're looking, they're looking for people to like it 10,000 times and share it and pump in their social media. I hear it at work. I mean, I got guys that, you know, they're constantly, I keep telling them, you know, get off your phone, man. And, you know, I talk to my son and Justin, and they kind of fill me in on what they're doing, because I don't, you know, I've never really gotten in. I have Facebook Messenger to communicate with people now. That's within the last year, but I don't have like a Facebook page where I'm sharing things and getting into groups and all of that. And you know, Dylan and Justin were telling me they're just like, these guys will just post anything, and they're up on, you know, wake up in the morning. I just got up and I just put my boots on. I'm headed to the store, telling the whole world. Yeah. And then when something pops up, it's like they're addicted to it. They just can't get off it. And I guess, you know, this would be very similar. I mean, when somebody sees something like that, they're looking to be part of the in crowd and important. And hey, friends, look what I just found, without even thinking where it came from or how they got it, or probably half of them don't even care whether it's real or not.
So true.
Right. Well, on this next one, the one on the left, the darker one, that was the one posted. Okay. Not anything, no background information, nothing. Just this is what I found in that black circle. Okay.
No story.
And all I did was lighten it like a couple of notches, and you can see the whole trees, leaves, everything. That's how people want to take advantage, you know, of situations. Because remember, I heard somebody in the community said, take pictures, and when you go home and look at them, if you see black, that's a Bigfoot. Because black doesn't exist in the forest. That's what they said. And I was like,
wow. Excuse me?
Yeah, right on.
For as long as I lived in the woods, black does exist.
Yeah.
So beware, and people, there are tools out there to help you see this stuff, you know.
Well, just Nikki, beware. I'm going to say this right now about those two circles. They're the wrong color. They're supposed to be red.
Right on.
I'm going to argue with you in a little bit. Just wait. I have an argument there. So this photo here had the caption, this was taken at blah, 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 and we heard something, and I turned and I took the picture. What do you see? Okay, that's all. He didn't say, I see a Bigfoot, nothing like that. He left it open and told his viewers to let him know what they saw, which proceeded to have people dropping pictures, okay?
Oh my.
With circles. And I got such a kick out of it. That one didn't have a circle, but I see a little squished baby face in the middle of the one on the right.
Oh yeah, look, there it is.
Isn't that a giant bullfrog? Is that a giant bullfrog on the right there?
On the right. Oh, it could be.
I don't know. It looked like an owl.
It's a juvenile Bigfoot. Juvenile Bigfoot.
Well, look right down.
What else could it be, guys? What else?
Yeah, if you went to the bottom left of that picture, there was a monkey-looking thing that would have to have had its head embedded in the ground, looking up at the sky.
Right. Where's the rest of the body? Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
The comments were, somebody's climbing in the hill, possibly 3 cloaking, many possibilities, something with fur, a bear, though it looks very much like something else, you know, that being that doesn't exist.
I see a black spot.
Pictures just kept on coming, okay?
Yeah.
Of people pulling out. And then somebody says, looks real
I
to
see
me.
it. I see it.
Looks real, but it looks real.
I
to
see
me.
it. It's right there. The tree is right there. The tree is right there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, Jesus.
and
Oh
this is
my.
my
Jesus.
rendition of all of those put together.
Wow.
And I used a
Yeah.
different color for each
Oh,
one,
my God.
just to add a little color to the
Oh, you remember
situation.
that stump, that broken stump at the shindig that we all took pictures of? Because if you
Yeah.
got this certain angle, you could have sold that to all these groups.
Oh,
That
yeah.
lived in, and then we put. Did you, Brent? Were you the one that put the?
Jen and Dakota
Jay,
went
we
put
did
little
that.
lights for eyes on it.
We put the little lights. It looked like eyeballs. A green one and a red one, I think. That was
Yeah,
fun.
that was a good one.
Yeah, it was scary at night to see that thing.
You
It
know, I
made you kind of do a
wonder.
double take.
I wonder if the software in our digital cameras, be it that you can set like face tracking and everything's human oriented. I wonder if the software, when it has to make a decision of placing color into a picture per pixel, I wonder if it has any tendencies to place two eyes, a nose, and a mouth to something that it just can't make out.
Well, you have pictures with RAW where it presents all the color potentials, like billions of extra pixel potentials of it. So you have RAW, which is like a really big file, which is what we all should be shooting in, but nobody really does. Some I know some cell phone cameras will actually shoot in RAW right now, but then you have JPEG, and which most will most of our pictures would do. It'll convert it down to JPEG, which will make those decisions for you, make those color decisions for you, which gives you less options in post, which will can actually create those artifacts because it's compressing the picture and it's doing the work for you, like you mentioned. And so that could be an option of how those faces are created. Yeah, I got a really good video that I just took of something that's really there, but just the way that the light and the moss and everything falls on it, it looks like a face and stuff. But
Yeah, that was
one
that
on
was
the side
good.
of the
That was
tree.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Well, like Jay was saying about the stump, I was out with a couple of friends and I didn't have my binoculars with me. And I'm seeing something and I'm thinking, man, that is a Bigfoot. And I go, Gary, grab your binoculars and look right up. He said, I see it. Wait a minute. He gets his binoculars out and he's looking. Uprooted tree. And someone will take a picture of that and say, that was a Bigfoot without checking into it.
Yeah.
And no backstory. And that's the problem with a lot of these pictures.
Yeah.
And Nikki, what are you doing with a picture of my ex-mother-in-law?
I knew it. I knew it, Bill. It's just a picture that's been going around, and I threw it in there because it was the last thing I saw last night.
You mean she's been on the internet this long?
Good Lord.
I don't know, but it's really ugly, and that would freak me out if I saw that. But I think it's probably AI as well. So, I mean, well, yeah, I think it is. Jen wants me to show you the stump.
Boy,
let me see.
I hope it is AI.
The one from Jay's camp.
Yeah, but I don't know. Let me see. But it might be on my drive and not on my. So, must do a quick scan and see if I can.
Send it to her, Jen.
Have too much shit on it. Yeah, if you have it already, Jen, send it. They're little. The pictures are little. I don't know. I took a lot and I don't know.
I hosted that thing and I have very few pictures of those. I can't believe myself. There was one thing I wanted to do, for the Bigfoot barbecue was I wanted to have me and Brent and Michael and Dakota talk about standing there while I'm cooking and we're debating on whatever is better for meat. I had this in my mind, and then we'd have Thomas walk by and just stop and say, "Stick to the facts and only the facts," and walk away. I thought that would have been hilarious, and
That would have been good.
I just forgot about it. Man.
Oh, did you send it? Where am I? I don't even know where I'm at. There you go. Let me see. Send it, Jen. Send it. Okay. Oh, shoot.
Good night, B. Lynn. And
Good night, B.
Isn't she going in for an operation or something? Wasn't it?
Your knees?
She got her knee replaced, didn't she?
I think on the CARC show, I was driving and I couldn't see my phone very well, but I know some folks were wishing her good luck and good health. And what'd she say? Gotta get up 5.
Okay,
She's
there it
getting
is.
operated on tomorrow, or she already did get operated on.
Okay.
Well, good luck anyway, B. Lynn. Have a good evening. You're a sweetheart.
One of my favorite people.
Okay.
Yeah, she's great, huh?
But Steve, that's what I wanted to do with that. Was I wanted it to look like we're arguing about the food. We would be like, we would be disagreeing on the food when Thomas just stopped, say that, and walk out while we just stop and look at him walking out. And I just slipped my mind. I wanted to do a little musical number with Brent and the girls with his Thomas's car, and do Squatch lightning instead of grease lightning. But
that would be cool.
It's one of these things, and then I just lost track of time and stuff. Oh, there's Stumpy.
That's the color version with the colored lights in it. But then Jen put it to black and white, and it looks spooky.
Scary. Jay, though, that's you guys put the lights up on there?
Yeah.
Is that the stump
with
you're
the
talking
picture,
about?
though, the eyes looked bigger than what they were.
Yeah. And if you actually go a little bit more to the left as it starts to get dark, if you're somebody brand new, that would have scared the crap out of you. Not the eyes, but the stump itself, the way it literally is like as good as any of those stupid pictures that are on the internet.
It probably did scare the shit out of some people. Later on.
Those lights are still the lights are still in. Yeah, the lights are still in it, but of course and there's probably 10 feet of snow up there right now. So,
oh man,
jeez, what? That's crazy.
Oh yeah, we just had 2 feet just over this last week. We were out of water for a week. We had to go buy gallons of water and all that stuff, because everything we got down to with wind chill factor 0. And yeah, it was awful. My rabbits were the only thing that did good outside. I had literally had to bring, because if you know what a showgirl chicken is, and this is a Banty, so she's already little, but they have a bare neck, and then they'll have a fuzzy top, which makes why they call them a showgirl. And I couldn't have them freezing to death. Plus, our Chickie Poo, she was born in the house in the incubator, and she's mama's chicken. So, yeah, she's the one she's a giant chicken. You pick her up and just, you would think you had a Labrador puppy in your hands with her. So,
yeah, some of them chickens are really cool, but boy, some of them roosters, they can be very territorial and kind of a pain in the neck. My old man, when he was splitting up with his third wife, he got on this thing where he went up in the Harvey Field, which is the backside of Hackensack up in Warrensburg, New York. And what was it? Sally Brown owned that land up there. Dad knew her as a child or young fella growing up. He asked her if he could go up there and tend to the land, chop down the brush, kind of bring it back to the way it was when they had the mill and the farm up there. She said, sure. So he propped up the old Schaefer shack, built onto it, got a bunch of Banny chickens, and he had quite the little game farm up there. It was pretty cool, you know, but this one rooster, I go up there to visit him, and man, that thing, he was just relentless. He'd get all bent out of shape and come running at me and flap his wings, and wow, they can be a pain right in the butt sometimes.
That
Well,
should be chicken pot pie.
Chicky Poo's dad.
Their
Chicky
eggs
Poo's
were
dad was,
awesome, man. They were good.
Her dad was a Buff Orpington, and her mother was a Americana that I had bought. But a friend of mine gave me her dad, and he was a big, beautiful Buff Orpington. But you turned your back on him, and he got me, and I had a bucket full of feed, and I threw that bucket down, and I slammed him with that, and he still. He got my neighbor so many times. She went out there with the baseball bat, killed him, plucked him, and gave him to me. But Chicky Poo's nothing like her dad. Nothing, you know. She's a good egg layer. She just started laying about 2 months ago, and she lays every day, even in the house. So
Nice.
that was cool.
Nice. We're supposed to have some town hall meeting over here.
Podcast?
Whoa.
What was the name of this show? What was the first name? Quick, the first person's gonna get their name on the.
Come on, you guys. You know, we've been listening to Nikki now for a couple of years.
No. Okay. No takers. I guess whoever's on there
Hey,
right now.
I got to take off.
Between the two people.
Heading
Okay,
out,
Bill.
Hey,
Thanks.
Good to see
Hey,
you, man.
Hoodwinks
take
and
care,
Harry.
guys.
Take care.
Hoodwinks and Harry hoaxes.
Harry Man hoodwinks, or Harry Man hoaxes and hoodwinks.
Yeah.
What? Say it again.
Harry Man hoaxes and hoodwinks. Am I close?
That's what it was. That's what
Yay.
it was. It was a mouthful, wasn't it? So I am
It fit the
going to
bill.
put Jonathan on here.
That's why I shortened my name from Bigfoot Barbecue and Camp Cookbook to Bigfoot Barbecue.
Bigfoot
Yeah, appreciate that.
Okay. So this is we're gonna go right into Bigfoot in the news. And I had run into this old article, and I think I may have even done this last year, but it spurred on something else for me to take a look at. And this article was out of the Daily Yonder, and it said that could Kentucky's deep forests hide a piece of the Bigfoot puzzle? And I was like, okay, DNA, what was this? What was this? Well, of course, it was in regards to Expedition Bigfoot, okay? So on this article right here, it stated that of all the things you expect to find in the hills of the Appalachian Kentucky, proof of Bigfoot exists might not be at the top of your list, but among the legends and myths in rural America, tales of Bigfoot may be some of the most well-known. Folk tales of the large, hairy, hominid-like creature roaming the woods are most associated with the American Northwest. Now, it went on to say, there's a whole article, okay, and in July and August of 2020, that members of the Travel Channel's TV show Expedition Bigfoot filmed their second season in Kentucky, and as a part of that investigation, the team thinks that they had found DNA. Okay, so I vaguely remember them doing that because it was during one of their seasons where they started to do eDNA out of one of the rivers they had there. So I wanted to explore that a little bit more because I had questions about some stuff. So I did, and I went and I found another article that they had about unexpected DNA. And it said the same thing, that during filming deep in the wilderness of Kentucky Appalachian Highlands, eDNA was collected from soil under a massive tree structure found by Dr. Mayer and LeBlanc and produced surprising and exciting results. That environmental DNA is the genetic material naturally left behind by animals in the environment. So once it came back, it was found that they had detected human DNA in these areas, right? But they still found different kind of primate DNA. There wasn't just one human primate. There were several different primates, some sort of primate relative that existed in the data. They went on to say that it was some kind of troglodyte is a species of chimpanzee. And that pan genus, or the chimpanzee genus, that there was over 3,000 reeds. Now, I don't know what a reed is or any of that, but that got me thinking more about the difficulty of eDNA, okay?
Sure.
And how we are going to find anything when there's so many different possibilities out there.
Yeah, it's like a tossed salad.
Right. And I had questions about price.
You got
migratory birds that are traveling from Canada all the way down into South America and then back on up in through. They're going to be carting DNA from species that don't even live in certain parts of the United States of America just in their travels. I mean, they could have it in their digestive system from the things that they're eating. They could have it on themselves, on their feathers. It can drop to the ground.
Here's the thing. Those guys had, they don't tell you this on this or on the show. Those people were involved somewhere at a zoo or where they were near primates. They don't tell you that.
Yeah. Actually, I think that's the one that they used the drone to spread the pheromones all over the forest.
Yeah,
I believe. I think that was the actual episode. They used Kate Hieronymus's technique of spreading potential pheromones around the forest. And
yeah, check that. I think that's one more time.
Hey, what kind of pizza, man?
Yeah,
it wasn't. Spread it around. I haven't had dinner.
Wasn't eating pizza.
So.
No, but I think that's contributed to the Expedition Bigfoot's results of the whatever it was.
No, I don't have a whole lot of faith in the. I mean, the results are the results, right? But we don't know all the circumstances of where they were at, if those pheromones had anything to do with the results or any of that. But that's what spurred my question, was that how reliable is eDNA going to be when all these other factors, we don't necessarily know what they are? And how much is it? A normal person, a weekend warrior can't afford to go have eDNA testing done in their area. And I went to look for prices, is what my original search was for. And it's none of these places that do eDNA will just list prices. Okay. You have to be serious, sign in, register, just to be able to get further into their places, their sites. Okay. So I didn't do a whole lot of that. I did find this Adirondacks, which is it's an aquatic species sampling place. Okay. That was they're easier to maneuver through their website, and it's primarily for like fisheries and for the game and fish, forestry, stuff like that. They use this to help determine what fish are in what ponds and estuaries and stuff like that. That's what this is. They generally do, but they had listings for fish, okay, just to determine fish out there. And it's a whole big thing, okay, when you're trying to find eDNA. It's not just you're trying to find that marker of what that species is, but when you're looking for that, there was, for them, they also do stomach content of the fish, but you could, something called quantitative PCR analysis, which is of the water itself, the analysis of any kind of soil that's in that water, the actual analysis of additional species within the water, meta barcoding of the fish, and a bunch of different types of those meta barcoding, which I didn't go into because I barely looked at this today. There's all kinds of sequencing and diagnostic stuff and valid assay validations and a lot. It wasn't just one little thing. And all of that comes at a price. Just for regular eDNA meta barcoding was like almost $3,000. And that's
Wow.
for like, that would be up to 16 samples on flow cell, which is $180 a sample. So if you're looking at some water and you've got 50 things in that water, they're going to make you pay for all that information.
Right.
Every time they discover something new, right? And there's different pricing, because you could get like students at, say, a university who will charge you maybe $3,000 to analyze this eDNA, or you could get a senior researcher for $4,000. If you go to a regular, like a private facility to do this, you're looking up to like $15,000 to have a professional eDNA workup of materials.
There seems like there has to be a lot of filtering to get to if you're looking for a specific DNA or a specific animal. And because it's just such a tossed salad out there in the forest for eDNA, I mean, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it would be very feasible, at least in my opinion, with the knowledge I have of it, which is very minimal. It doesn't seem like the go-to.
I think I put
at this point.
Link to what we're looking at right now is from nature.com. Had a kind of a whole article about eDNA and how we would use it for mammals. Okay, on the left, those little red dots on the left side there, those are trail cams of an area. I know it's going to be real small for some of you to see. And it goes down. The yellow ones on the below are trail cams, and then less trail cams. They were doing a study to see how they could compare eDNA to trail cams to the animals they found appearing on the trail cams.
Okay, fair enough.
It's actually a really interesting article.
Wow. Yeah.
And so it can tell you, well, is eDNA even going to help, discover what's in the area? But I would say for those who are interested in this type of stuff, of knowing if technology is going to help us with finding out if there's Bigfoot or primates, other primates in the forest, that this is a good study to look at if you have the ability to do this kind of technology, because that's a pretty big study that I'd never heard of.
Yeah, you remember on the CARC, Brendon was there was a show where he had gotten information, contacted the people, and there was a new eDNA collection device, and it was like a little square with some sort of material over the front. It had a slight vacuum to it. And on his show, he spoke about the fact that he contacted them and he was going to be able to obtain some. Now, this is collecting eDNA from the air, if I'm speaking of this properly. I mean, contact them.
There is error. I found one of those sample packets or packet. How do they say it? I can't remember now. But before I move on the right-hand side, you see that list that goes all the way down.
Mhm.
That's the number of species they found in that area.
Wow.
Each one of those lines is an animal that they found. So you're looking at the name of the species, what was caught. The next column is if it was caught on camera. The
Mhm.
next column is both caught on camera and found through DNA. And then the last one is just
Mhm.
eDNA that was
Yeah.
captured.
Very, very mathematic. That's why they're calling it a quantitative research, because it's mathematical. It's a measurement, and that they did a good job with that, because they're collecting the data and they're using mathematics and charts to be able to show you the results. And looking at it, it definitely picking up a lot of species that are not actually native to the area where they're
Yeah.
where they
Now
got
there
their
was
trail
it's
cameras set
even
up.
more complicated. Like I don't know the difference between spatial eDNA or cachement eDNA. I don't know what the difference is, way above my pay grade, right?
Yeah, I
But
haven't given it a
the
bunch of
article
thought.
was easy to read from what I started to read. So if anybody's even interested, I
I took
thought,
my
sometime
Yeah,
that's
it is
the end.
interesting for
I took
sure.
my
That's a
basic
way to measure
training.
it.
I took my basic training at Fort Knox, Kentucky, way back in 1979, and I can tell you, I'm from Washington State. Nikki, you've been here. Brent lives here. You see what our forests are like. I can tell you that while I was there, that was the closest thing to me to being home. I was just amazed at it's just the forest is unbelievable in Kentucky. And I can remember my drill sergeant just before we graduated. I turned 18 in basic training with 2 days left. But he knew that I was I loved outdoors because I'd grown up on that. And we talked about Sasquatch. I never even thought about Sasquatch really, but we talked briefly. And he told me, he says, and me and Sergeant whatever, we had rescued a baby raccoon over the weekend. And he says, and I think that there might be one of those creatures they call a Sasquatch out there. And that will always stick in my mind because Zane Kushmal, he was my drill sergeant. I'll never forget him. He was a very you had to prove yourself to that man every day. I mean, every day. And for him to have just a moment like that with me, but I was soldier of the quarter and all that. I had a lot to prove because I had a dysfunctional hip, and I lied my way through the whole thing and was able to make myself a soldier, make my dad proud and all that. And I loved it. But yeah, I'll never forget that, hearing him talk about that. And we never elaborated or all that. I was actually in trouble that day when he was telling me. But I was 18 years old, but to hear this from my drill sergeant was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. No, it's just something I'll always remember. But
That's awesome, Jay.
let me tell you something about Kentucky. I'm telling you, they told us at the rifle range when we're sighting in our weapons, one person takes a shot. If the birds fly over or a deer runs through this, you're going to go to jail. So that's, that's just, I'm just telling you guys that if there's going to be a Bigfoot somewhere else besides Washington, Oregon, California, I would say Kentucky is a prime suspect, a prime place for it. So
Right on.
All over. I think they're all
Yeah, I
over.
hope to see that land someday. I hear a lot about it.
So those last ones were just the sample kits I was talking about.
Are they available to the public, Nikki?
I believe they are. But once again, no prices. They don't list it until you sign in and you put your name, address, all your information,
Yeah.
And then it will probably link you to the right things. But they had aquatic environmental DNA kits. They had source tracking DNA kits, which is like it can find E. coli in cattle and swine and sheep and all kinds of stuff.
The diet
And
DNA.
then they had a diet DNA kit, which I had never heard of either.
what?
So, yeah, it's supposed to go in deep diving into
For
the
scat.
components of.
Oh, okay.
That's going to
Yeah,
be for scat. That's, you know,
yeah.
the whatever they're eating, and they, you know, put
So
the scat
this
out. There's your
this
kit.
came from Joan. Hold on. Called Jonas something. JonahVentures.com. JonahVentures.com is where you can find more information about these DNA kits that I found. Okay.
Good find, Nikki.
There
Sandra
you go.
Piper. Sandra Piper. Hi.
Hey, Sandra. So I have the next be on the lookout, and I'm featuring Jonathan.
Oh, hey, look at that guy.
Channel. Because, man, I watched your January 12th video,
All right, on.
and I've never seen anyone so dedicated to going out there in the snow.
You're
and
too kind.
It was amazing. It was amazing to watch. And are you okay, Brent? Are you gonna die?
No, I'm good. No, I'm good.
Don't inhale whatever you got in your mouth.
You gotta be careful with those Jolly Ranchers. You're supposed to suck on them.
So we're almost done, and then you can go finish your dinner. So anyway, I just wanted to tell you thanks for putting out such great content.
Well, thank
And
you, Nikki. I appreciate it. I really do.
Yeah, I think everybody needs to go check that out. And
I would also like to
scary.
add that wizard with the Sasquatch there. You folks have seen Chessboard in the chats. Goes by the code name Chessboard.
Yeah.
He was so well. He or she, I'm not really sure. That individual was so kind. He made that and emailed that to me about a year ago. So when you watch it all the way through, look at the bottom right-hand corner in yellow letters, you'll see it pop up, says Chessboard. I was so grateful. I thought that was fantastic. Yeah, he made that and sent it to me.
It's nice. I liked it for sure.
Yeah.
So go and check out Jonathan's channel there, Sasquatch Wizard Adirondacks.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you.
Great thing. Also, to end the podcast, I am calling on all the angels. We have a friend out there who is in need right now, and that's Batmom Tessa. She's in need of a little help, and I've dropped her PayPal down in the description. If you can spare anything, she would greatly appreciate it. And that's all I'm going to go into that. Okay. If you want to reach out to her, I'm sure she would appreciate it. But we love you. We love you, Tess.
Can I quickly tell you? Did you guys know that DNA just identified a new spider?
No.
It's a 10-eyed spider. You know what they call it? Spy.
Yeah.
I like it.
Nice.
We like it. Oh, geez.
Oh, God, that's awesome.
Gotta love Jay. Gotta expect that one.
Nice job,
Anyway, thank you guys. You have any last comments or anything coming up? Anything? Nope. Well, thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Nikki. Been a while.
I'll miss you, Jay. Miss your cooking.
Good hanging with you, Jay. Good hanging with you, Brent.
Yeah, I miss you guys. I miss Brent. I miss you too, Nikki. Guys, I didn't come in under the Bigfoot BBQ sign tonight, but hey, watch me and see what you think. And if you like it, like and subscribe. I'm almost after 4 years to 500 subscribers, and that's just gonna be great. So
That's
you know,
awesome.
it's patience. And I don't care if I ever get 1,000 or 500. The 470 people that I cooked for make me happy. So I'll do it for you every week, and I have for years now. So
Yeah, much appreciated. You've taught me a few things, and my food tastes better.
well, tonight I'm doing filet mignon. So
Oh, right on.
Ooh.
Oh boy, that's a
Stop
cut of meat
it.
right
Stop
there.
it.
Mm.
I gotta go for groceries. Seriously. All right. It looks like I'll be eating ramen noodles or something tonight. So, okay, you guys. Thank you for being here, you guys. Man, I can't get to my music, my right music. Please, you guys, hit that like button before you leave. Leave me a comment. What do you want me to talk about next? I'm sure somebody will talk with me about it. So we'll see you guys in the next chat. Love you guys.